What's going on, guys? I'm Steven Richard with Freelance Film School, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to color correct a video that was shot in log profile. Alright, so maybe you just got a new camera, or maybe you just learned about log profile, so you went to your camera settings and you switched your color profile to log, and you went out and you got a bunch of footage, and now you're at your computer editing and you don't really know where to start. So what's happening? I'm here to show you guys that. So those of you who might not know, log profile is basically a color profile in high DSLR cameras and also cinema cameras that gives you the most dynamic range, which in other words is the best quality for that camera. And when you shoot in log profile, you might get a video clip that looks similar to this, just a very unsaturated clip with no shadows, very neutral, almost monochromed look. Now you might be wondering, why would I want that? Well, it gives you the most, well, again, it's the highest quality and it gives you the most freedom when you want to color correct. So let's just hop right into the color correcting. I'm gonna go to a new item. I'm gonna grab myself an adjustment layer. Just for today's educational purposes, I'm gonna be doing this onto the adjustment layer. All right, now it's in there. So let's go to the color correction tab. Most of you guys are probably familiar with this. And I'm gonna be doing all my work in the basic corrections tab on the right. Now, of course, a lot of people like to add LUTs to their videos. That's over here in your creative. There's a bunch of LUTs. I'm not going to be showing you guys that because it's not really educational. I'm sure most of you guys are smart enough to be able to test out LUTs and, put them on your video. This video is me showing you guys just how to bring your video clip back to life. I'm not going to be showing you guys how to have like a Western themed color correction or a horror look. None of that. I'm just going to be showing you guys how to take this grayscale looking video and bring it back to life. And it's very simple. So let me get right to it. The first thing I like to do is like to bring the shadows back in. So I'm going to bring it down like -30. And as you can see, the shadows are now coming back into my shot. Now, the reason why there is no shadows or the shadows are blown up is because what the log profile is doing is it's blowing up the shadows so it can take as much detail as possible of the shadows so you can do whatever you want with them. So for example, if I was in a color profile that already had like dark shadows and I didn't really want those dark shadows for a specific clip and I tried to bring the shadows up, you would see a big loss in quality within those shadows. So the next thing I like to do is I like to bring the saturation, bring that up to like 130. And as you can see, just that already, let's toggle on and off. Just that already, look at that. Just adding some shadows and saturation. Look at the difference in the shot already. Looks a lot better. One little key tip with saturation, if you're doing like a real close-up, like you have someone's face, a girl's face or a guy's face, it doesn't matter. Don't go too hard with the saturation because they can start to look orangey or can just kind of lose their organic color of their skin. So that's why it's also important to keep toggling. Keep toggling so you don't really lose your vision, because sometimes when you're really inside of an edit, you can kind of lose track and you might need like a second pair of eyes to look and be like, yo, why is that dude's face orange? That happens to me all the time. So, all right, we got our saturation, we have our shadows. The next thing I like to do is I just bring in some blacks. This kind of does the same thing as the shadows. It just adds contrast to the blacks in the shot, brings it back more to life. Speaking of contrast, we're going to go to contrast. Let's add like 17. There we go. And already, guys, this is pretty much right here. This right here is, as you can see, toggling on and off now. It's a complete 180. Now there's a lot of color in the shot. There's nice shadows. The saturation's here. The contrast is here. Right here is like a nice base color profile. It's high dynamic range and it's a very neutral base color profile. That's all I was aiming for. That's all today's video will entail. So again, I hope you guys learned something. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future editing or filmmaking tutorials.